Here with UFC President Dana White, it's the main event, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. I haven't seen a single person pick Covington to win this fight. Are people forgetting how those first 3 rounds went?
You haven't seen a what?
I haven't seen a single person pick Covington to win this fight. Are people just forgetting how good he was in those first rounds?
Listen, Covington is, other than the champ Usman, who's on his way to possible GOAT status, there's no doubt Colby Covington's the next best guy in the world. I just think that people feel like Usman has gotten better since their last fight, and we'll find out tomorrow night. It's what makes fights like this so fun.
Well, let's pretend Covington has won the fight. How did he do it, in your opinion? Like, what would be his path? What would be his path to win if
Covington?
Yeah.
I think he fights it. Listen, I had it tied going into the 5th round in the last fight. So to say he should do anything other than what he did last time is crazy. The question is, how much better have Usman's hands got? He's got knockout power in both hands. He's dangerous everywhere. You got a guy with the 2nd most takedowns in welterweight history going up against a guy who's never been taken down, in his entire career and is on a 14-fight win streak. He says it best. He's lapping some of these guys now. He's coming around the track for the 2nd time. He's one of the greatest of all time.
It's interesting to look at what happened with Woodley. He was calling for all these big fights, but they just weren't there at the time. Usman becomes champion, and there's all these big fights that just keep coming his way. The Burns fight, former training partners, 2 fights with Covington, 2 fights with Masvidal. Now you've got Khamzat Chimaev coming up. He just happened to hit lightning in a bottle, but he's got a lot of big matchups.
Yeah, and some people would call that unlucky. I say it's lucky because to achieve that GOAT status, you have to have dance partners, and this guy's got nothing but.
So if he beats Covington, I'm sure Chimaev needs another fight or 2, but that's the next big one in my opinion.
I don't know if Chimaev is ready for that yet. Chimaev just broke into the top 10 by fighting a number 11. It's a whole nother ball game when you get into the top 10 and you start fighting, 5 and up. He's 1 or 2 fights away from a possible championship.
Do you think he fights again this year?
You think what?
Do you think Chimaev fights again this year?
Yes.
Wow, so it's something already lined up because this year doesn't have much left.
We're trying to.
All right. And when would that be? Probably towards the end of the year?
I have no clue.
Okay.
It's the last thing on earth I'm thinking about right now.
All right. Well, one thing I want to ask you about is the featured prelim, which is Alex Pereira. This guy is an absolute monster. He's only 3-1 in MMA, but his kickboxing 2-division champion beat Vakhitov, who's one of the beasts of the light heavyweight division over in Glory. What are you expecting from him?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of excitement and anticipation for him coming in tomorrow night. It's going to be fun to see. I mean, this guy's an absolute killer. And today was the first time, out here at the weigh-ins that I've seen him live in person. He's massive.
Yeah, he got on the scale. I think he was 185. And then Chris Curtis, who's like 5'9", got on the scale after him. And I was like, I can't believe these guys are in the same weight class.
He's massive.
Absolutely. Gaethje versus Chandler. This is the fight that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. A lot of people think it's going to end quickly. I'm of the opinion that it could go all 3 rounds because of just how good these 2 guys are.
Yeah, listen, if it doesn't end fast, I predict it to be the fight of the night on a card that's stacked full of crazy fights.
Yeah, we've got Quarantillo versus Burgos. That's almost like Chandler versus Gaethje light.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that could be fight of the night, too.
There's something about the crowd here at MSG. It's kind of a different feel. Do you feel a different vibe when you're in the city?
Yeah, and you know what? There always is in New York, but, I feel like New York people are ready to burst at the seams right now, and it's exciting and it's fun. We're in this smaller venue. Wait till MSG. When I tell you that we're sold out tomorrow, we are. I don't have a ticket. I couldn't get you a ticket.
Weeks ago, you were done.
I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. So the energy and the buzz is going to be electric on that place tomorrow, and I can't wait for it.
Usually the UFC comes to Barclays in April. Is that the plan for next year?
What's the question?
Usually the UFC comes to Barclays in, I believe it's April. Is that the plan for next year, to come to Barclays quickly?
I don't even know.
But I'm sure you're hoping to get back there?
Yes.
All right, and Contender Series wrapped up this past week. It seems like it was forever ago. But Johan Linus, Canadian, I think he was the 2nd last guy to get signed. But
yeah.
It's nice to see a Canadian with that kind of hunger. What did you think of his performance?
I agree with you. I was excited to see a couple Canadians toward the end of it. Canada's a fun market for us. It's another place that we haven't been in a long time now. And when we bust back into Toronto or, one of these other cities, we got some new up-and-coming guys, so it should be fun.
Last we spoke, we had a bit of a miscommunication about the February pay-per-view. You had mentioned Seattle or somewhere in Canada. I guess it's not for that date, but how quickly would you like to get back to Canada?
As soon as possible. I mean, as soon as Canada's open and I can fill an arena, I'll be there.
They're full. You can fill an arena right now in Canada.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I get everybody in?
That's the big question. Yesterday, at the weigh-ins, or after the press conference, Kamaru Usman shoved Colby Covington. I know you hate when this happens. Do you get upset afterwards when this happens under your watch?
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't even let them go near each other today. Yeah, no, I hate it. Yeah, it's not good. It's bad. Everybody thinks it's good for selling pay-per-views. It's not. Listen, the press conference was good enough. The fight on its own stands on its own, you know. And then the thing that I was worried about today was the fact that he got him yesterday, so Colby was going to try to get him back today. So I try to avoid as much of that crap as possible.
And on the flip side of that, you only have a certain amount of people that you allow to square off the fighters. But today, Halle Berry squared off the co-main event. How'd that come together?
Because I was very confident that those two would not go crazy on each other. You know, they're both super respectful, and Halle Berry loves this sport. And her and I got something going on today, so she wanted to come in and be a part of the weigh-ins.
And lastly, RT, an outlet in Russia, said that you had offered $1.5 million to Hasbulla and Abdu Rozik to make this fight happen in the UFC. Don't worry about the numbers, but is there any truth to that possibly happening?
What's the question?
A Russian outlet said that you had offered $1.5 million for Hasbulla and Abdu Rozik to fight in the UFC. Is there any, forget about the numbers, but is there any truth to that being in the works?
No comment.
Could that get sanctioned, though?
No comment.
All right. I'll take your note.
Comment on that one.
Usually that means something. I'll read between the lines.
No comment.
All right. Well, thanks for this, Dana. I appreciate it. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Thank you.